Good evening and good morning, wherever you are in the world. In today's podcast, nicknamed Ladies Like Armour Plating, I'm going to be discussing and diving into the universe of Halo. Let's get mentally obsessed. I'm your host, Reese. Before we continue with this awesomeness that is Halo, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Mead's PC Repair Shop, for sponsoring this episode, so thank you for that. You can find their website on my podcast section on reesmart.co.uk/podcast. I hope everyone is comfortable. Let's begin. If you've never played Halo before, you won't understand the title of this episode. Bungie and 343 were both really good at choosing their chapter titles. Ladies Like Armour Plating was taken from the chapter title from Halo 2's mission Metroplis. If you've never played Metroplis, it's basically you're attacking this scarab, and Johnson drops off a tank, and Cortana says, thanks for the tank, he never gets me anything. And Johnson's like, oh, I know what the ladies like. The Halo universe is about this ring world which was created to wipe the galaxy of all sentient life. Throughout Halo 2 and 3, you're battling an alien race named the Covenant who set out to obliterate the human race. These aliens, who are ferocious, have found a ring world and have released a deadly parasite which must be stopped. I was first introduced to Halo at a very young age. I specifically remember my mom playing the game, playing the mission the last mission on Halo. My mom and my cousin tried so hard to complete the last mission on Legendary, it took them a couple of tries. I attempted it too, and I enjoyed the feel and the gameplay of the game, so I became addicted. I've played Halo about 100 times, and I know the beginning cinematic to Halo 2 word for word. I wouldn't really call this a review. I just wanted to share my obsession of the world's best first-person shooter in the galaxy. The way Bungie introduced Halo to me was pretty awesome. I love how the characters progress throughout the entire game. For some odd reason, my favourite character was the Pelican driver Echo 419, who meets an unfortunate end. I remember being that obsessed with Pelicans in Halo, I downloaded the Halo Combat Evolved game, Custom Edition, and would drive a Pelican and drop off reinforcements to other players who were attempting to capture the flag. Being able to play with my family really increased the enjoyment of the game. I was engulfed and so impressed by the aliens, and at the time, the graphics of the game, which was crisp and clear. I introduced all of my friends to Halo. Any friend I had, I was like, you are going to play this game with me and you're going to enjoy it. And that kind of happened throughout my life. And it always has happened. I've always asked every single person who I'm friends with, have you played Halo? If they say no, you should play Halo. And then I introduce it to them, and most of the time they're like, actually, I love Halo. And to be honest, I'm glad you do, because Halo is a really, really good game. Halo 2 is one of my favourite Halo games. The story was incredibly enjoyable. The graphics had improved immensely. I remember being called into my dad's office. My mom and him was gathered around the computer, and they both told me to look at what just dropped. The look on our faces was a picture. It was the announcement trailer of Halo 2. I remember that. I remember looking at my mom in pure excitement, and we both started to have a nerd attack. What really enhanced the gameplay is seeing both sides of the story. You get to play as the Arbiter and see it from the Covenant's perspective as well as the UNSC's perspective. And you also get to fight the Flood again from Halo Combat Evolved, so that really added to the game in a sense, and just the feel of multiplayer was really good as well, and being able to play hours and hours on end fighting people and getting perks. I can't remember if you can get perks, but I just remember that you was able to play as an elite as well and a Spartan, which really was amazing, because obviously in the campaign you could play both the Arbiter and the Master Chief, so it kind of really added like I'm really into this campaign to the whole story, and you was just able to see how the Covenant in Halo 2 broke and the elites became single and the Covenant still remained these this faction who supported and worshipped the Forerunners. After the events of Halo 2, you are now playing alongside the Arbiter, who is now best friends, buddies with Master Chief. The relationship against Arby and Chief was cute. Do you remember that series on YouTube called Arby and Chief? I think that's what it was called. I can't remember specifically what it was called, but that YouTube channel was really good because it just explained the relationship between Arbiter and the Master Chief in this game. People who have played Halo will understand how cute these two are working together in this Halo game. We get to fight just the Covenant alongside the elites who had left the Order. And the way the campaign was told as well was just as good as Halo 2. Some people unfortunately say that Halo 3 was a disappointment. I don't know, I don't feel that way. I feel as if Halo 3 was better graphics. It was the story was told so much better than especially Halo 4 and Halo 5 Guardians, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, just being able to play alongside the Arbiter and Master Chief as well is just really made the game so much better. If you was just able, obviously you're able to play the Arbiter 2 if you're playing on 2-player, but other than that, I really enjoyed the game of Halo 3. Halo Wars, the RTS, was such a brilliantly made and well story-driven game. It was a bit hard to understand what and when the timeline of the game happened. However, after extensive research and some pretty awesome Halo videos on the internet of story into the game, but the campaign ran smoothly, and being able to play both the UNSC and Covenant in skirmish battles was so cool. It was a very nerdy game, and everyone who loved Halo Wars would agree with me. And I am proud to say I was one of those nerds. I've only ever completed the campaign once compared to the other Halos. However, I will play it again soon because Steam released Halo Wars for free for a weekend. So I started some of the campaign, but I never got to finish it in time because I was busy. But seriously, being able to play as both the Covenant and the UNSC in skirmish battles really made the Halo universe, you see the Halo universe in a different light. And you was able to play as Captain Cutter, Sergeant Forge, and the scientist, I can't remember her name, and then the Covenant side you could play as the Prophet of Regret, the Arbiter, and there was one more, I can't remember who that one was, I can't remember. And you could also play the Brute Chieftain too. All these different leaders had different abilities as well. So, for example, Captain Cutter had access to ODSTs, Unique Vehicle Unit Elephant, Passive Power Tech Level 1, and Leader Power Mac Blast, while Professor Anders had Unique Gremlin, Hawk, Upgrades and Research Time Halved, Cryo Bomb. Sergeant Forge had access to Cyclops, Grizzlies, Supply Pads, Instant Heavy Supply Pads, Carpet Bomb. And the Covenant leaders, the Arbiter got access to Suicide Grunts, Rage, that was a leader power. The Prophet of Regret got Elite Honor Guard, leader power Cleansing, while the Brute Chieftain got Unique Troop Unit Brute, Unique Vehicle Unit Brute Chopper, and leader power Vortex. Now, Halo 3 ODST is one of those games that I really didn't enjoy. I've never really played a Halo 3 ODST campaign. I believe the game was glitchy because I couldn't get off the first mission, so I never really tried to complete it. However, I've seen many people play the game. Being able to play as an ODST really changed Halo. It was different. It didn't, to me, feel as much as a Halo game, but that's to be expected without the Master Chief there. Now we're going to move on to Halo Reach, and Halo Reach is one of my second favourite Halo games. Being able to customise your Spartan made the game already better than some of the others that were released. I didn't start the campaign at that point and I was already engulfed and loving it. Being able to customise your Spartan made you feel unique to everyone else. in the campaign as well, because you could play with your friends and stuff, and then you both had different armour, which was amazing. The story was told to a T, and I never wanted to finish the game because I enjoyed it that much. I think in this one, no, they didn't, because they introduced Forge in Halo 3, but that in Halo Reach, Forge got even better. Being able to fly the Falcons, being able to create your own custom maps to use for the community to use, just really made Halo Reach really good. Okay, this is where Halo changed for me. I completed Halo 4 the first couple of hours of purchasing. However, being introduced to a new faction to me changed the experience of Halo. The Prometheans were a pain in the backside. However, Halo 4 and 5 are the only Halo games I don't really like. I like the other Halo games, though they're all really cool. Everyone in the Halo community don't really talk about Halo 5 Guardians. I've got the game because it's Halo, but for me, 343 really changed it up for the worst. I mean, changing the art style and stuff, ew, that was disgusting, especially the Pelicans. They really, to me, really destroyed the Pelicans. And because I had an obsession with the Pelicans, it was like a disappointment to me when I saw they'd made them like bulky and horrible, ew. So I'm hoping with the release of Halo Infinite, the old art style will make a return, and they will tell the story in such a better way. 343 made a pretty good game here. I absolutely enjoyed Halo Wars 2. The graphics, the gameplay, everything. They introduced a new enemy in such a brilliant way, and the cinematics were made so... oh, that was gorgeous. That's it for now. Thank you kindly for listening to my podcast. This was my review-ish obsession talk. I hope this was a little different than my weekly talk of K-pop and mental health. If this does well, I will do more obsessions of games, YouTubers or even TV shows. Before we officially say goodbye until next week, could you rate and comment on iTunes and other platforms? It really helps. If you'd like to put some input in today's discussion, you can fill in the form by heading to resmart.co.uk/podcast. Goodbye and see you next week.